is going to be Vincent Savillo. He's been with Toastmasters for almost a year now. And his title speech is No Reserve, No Retreat, No Regret. Vincent Savillo. No reserve, no retreat, no regret. Let's give it up.
Fellow Toastmasters, guests, ladies and gentlemen, today we live in a society that tells us how we have to act to live a fulfilled and successful life. Let's face it, it's in our corporate world, it's in every advertisement we see, what celebrity we should act like, what car we should drive, what we should eat, what we should drink. But I'm here to tell you, none of that will lead you to a fulfilled and successful life. In fact, it comes down to something very simple. Making the right decisions at the right times, no matter what life throws at you. So I want everybody in here to think about what their legacy is going to be. How they want to be remembered. And while you do that, I'm going to share some stories of people that have personally inspired me to start thinking about what my legacy is going to be. I want you to imagine being locked up for 27 years for your beliefs, forced to do hard labor. And I want you to imagine the day you got out after 27 years. How would you feel? Would you be mad? Would you start vowing how you were going to get revenge on the people who put you in prison? Would you try to sue them to get monetary? Well, let me tell you what Nelson Mandela did. On the day he was released, after 27 years, he made a speech to his country in which he forgave the people who put him in prison 27 years. And then he went on to commit to uniting his country. Went on to become president, healed his nation, ended apartheid, and became one of the greatest leaders we've ever known, including winning the Nobel Peace Prize. Nelson Mandela lived his life with no reserve. He held nothing back. Now let's come back to America. I want you to imagine being born into the segregated South in the 1950s. And you contract polio as a young kid. You get through the polio, but your left leg and foot are mangled, and you're told you will always walk with a brace. What would you feel? Would you say, well, I'm just not going to be a world-class athlete, but I can do pretty good still? Not Wilma Rudolph. She practiced walking every day in her room with her little sister, guarding the door, because her parents would try to come in and find her, because the doctors had told them that it would just discourage her. Not only did she learn to walk without a brace, she learned to run, and run she did. She became the fastest woman in the world, won 4 gold medals in the 1960 Olympics. Wilma Rudolph lived her life with no retreat. She didn't know how to look back, and she defined her legacy. So finally, I want to imagine you as a successful editor-in-chief of a magazine, famous magazine, actually French magazine Elle. You have everything in the world. You're rich, you're going to the greatest parties, and then one day you wake up and you're paralyzed. In fact, the only thing you can move is your left eye. What would you feel like? Would you look at God and say, why do I have such a great life? Why did this happen to me? Would you feel sorry? Would you want to die? Well, not John Paulet. This actually happened to him. At 43 years old, he suffered a massive stroke. When he woke up 20 days later, the only part of his body he could move was his left eye. And he didn't feel sorry for himself. He learned to communicate with his left eye. He'd go on to form words, which would form paragraphs, which would eventually be formed into chapters, and he wrote a book. And that book became became a national bestseller that would inspire millions of people. It actually made it to a award-winning movie, and there's talk about making a new remake of the movie. John lived his life with no regrets, and he defined his legacy. These three people were ordinary people, just like you and me. Yet they made their life decisions with no reserve, no retreat, and no regret. And they were materially wealthy. Wealth comes and goes in this world. These were extremely wealthy people. But that's not why we remember them. They have personally inspired me to start thinking about what my legacy will be in my decisions in life. And I hope they can inspire you. Define your legacy, how you will be remembered, and make your decisions with no reserve, no retreat, and no regrets. Contest me.
Let's give it up for Vincent. Here all around. I need everyone to be silent, and I need to have 1 minute